Good evening, friends. Let me ask you a question right from the start. Are you living your life, or is life just happening to you? You see, the enemy of greatness isn't failure. It's comfort. Comfort is warm, safe, and familiar. But it is also quiet, too quiet. It whispers, "Stay here, you've earned it." And that whisper, that's how dreams die. Comfort zones are beautiful places, but nothing ever grows there. You don't plant seeds in concrete. You plant them in the soil of challenge, and let me tell you, the soil of discomfort grows the strongest roots. Now, I'm not against being grateful. Be thankful for what you have, absolutely. But don't confuse comfort with contentment. Comfort is the silent killer of growth. It doesn't arrive loudly, nor does it demand attention. It's quiet, soft, and deceivingly pleasant. But that's precisely why it's dangerous. Unlike fear or failure, which shake you up and force you to react, comfort lulls you into stillness. It whispers, "You're fine where you are." And over time, that voice grows louder than your ambition. Growth doesn't die with a scream, it dies with a sigh of relief. The moment you settle and stop reaching for more. When people think about obstacles to success, they often mention setbacks, bad luck, lack of resources, or fear of failure. But what they rarely acknowledge is that comfort can be far more lethal. It's not dramatic. It doesn't crash into your life. It just waits quietly until your fire fades. It disguises itself as stability, contentment, even happiness. But beneath that calm exterior, it dulls your edge, weakens your discipline, and convinces you that effort is unnecessary. You never grow when you're fully comfortable. Think about the times in your life when you changed the most, developed the most character, or discovered what you were truly capable of. Were those moments easy? Of course not. They were probably filled with challenge, uncertainty, maybe even pain. But they forced you to stretch. They made you dig deeper, think harder, and work smarter. That's where growth lives. Not in comfort, but in resistance. Like a muscle, your potential grows under tension. Not relaxation. Comfort kills not just ambition, but urgency. It tells you there's always tomorrow, that you've got time. So you delay the important conversations. You put off chasing the goal. You postpone the learning, the investment, the action. And each delay builds on the last, until months or even years go by. You look up one day and realize your life hasn't moved forward. It's just gotten more predictable. And predictability, while soothing, is often the graveyard of progress. One of the most dangerous things about comfort is how justified it feels. Maybe you've worked hard to get where you are. Maybe you've earned a break. That's fair. Everyone needs rest. But the problem comes when rest becomes routine, when you stop pushing, when you stop seeking new challenges. That's when comfort begins to slowly suffocate the parts of you that hunger for more growth, more knowledge, more purpose. It's not that comfort is inherently bad. It's necessary in doses. We need it to recover, to recharge. But when comfort becomes your default state, when it becomes the place you live instead of the place you visit, you start to shrink. Your goals become smaller, your standards lower. Your identity, which once was defined by hunger and pursuit, becomes defined by safety and routine. And that's a dangerous shift if you're not careful. Comfort will become your identity. You'll start avoiding anything that threatens it. You'll pass up opportunities because they feel risky. You'll avoid growth because it feels inconvenient. And worst of all, you'll convince yourself that your current life is enough. Even when a part of you knows there's more waiting just outside your comfort zone. Growth requires friction. It requires doing things that are new, uncomfortable, and sometimes even scary. It demands failure, resilience, and effort. It's not found on the couch, or in the safe job you hate, or in the same routine repeated year after year. Growth shows up when you challenge yourself, when you ask more of your mind, your body, your character. It shows up when you choose courage over convenience. So don't be fooled by the ease of comfort. Don't mistake peace for progress. If you want to live a life that's truly fulfilling, you have to be willing to be uncomfortable. Not once or twice, but consistently. Comfort may feel good in the short term, but only growth delivers lasting meaning. And if you're not growing, you're slowly fading. Not dramatically, not painfully, just quietly. Like ambition dying in a soft chair, choose growth. Even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. Ambition demands discipline and action. It is not enough to simply dream big or speak passionately about your goals. Ambition by itself is just energy, potential waiting to be converted into progress. Without discipline to guide it and action to fuel it, ambition remains a fantasy, not a force. Many people believe they're ambitious because they want more out of life. But wanting isn't doing. The difference between the ambitious and the successful lies in execution. The daily decision to act, to commit, and to follow through even when the initial excitement fades. Discipline is the structure that supports ambition. It's the part of ambition that wakes you up early when you'd rather sleep in. It's the voice that reminds you to stay focused when distractions call. Discipline is not glamorous. In fact, it often feels tedious and repetitive. But that's what makes it powerful. It's the willingness to do what's necessary over and over, especially when no one is watching and no rewards are immediate. True ambition isn't loud, it's consistent. It's the small choices repeated daily that create large-scale results over time. Too many people confuse being busy with being productive. But busyness without discipline is just motion without direction. It might feel like progress, but it often leads to exhaustion without achievement. Discipline turns ambition into a strategy. It creates routines, priorities, and habits that align your energy with your purpose. Without discipline, even the most talented individuals drift, wasting potential and time on things that don't move them closer to their goals. Action, on the other hand, is what gives ambition its power. You can have a detailed plan, a compelling vision, and a strong desire, but unless you move, unless you act, it all means nothing. Action is the proof of ambition. It's how you turn ideas into reality. And the truth is, you won't always feel ready. You won't always feel confident. But action doesn't wait for perfect conditions. It starts anyway. The person who succeeds isn't the one with the perfect plan. It's the one who took the first step, and then the next, and then the next. Without letting doubt become a roadblock, many ambitious people fail not because they lack talent or vision, but because they wait for motivation. Motivation is unreliable. It comes and goes, but discipline is a decision. Action is a commitment. When you don't feel like doing the work, that's exactly when it matters most. It's in those moments, when it's tough, when it's uncomfortable, that discipline shows up as the quiet force keeping you aligned with your goals. Every time you take action despite discomfort, you train your mind to rise above excuses. Real ambition is tested in difficulty. It's easy to be ambitious when things are going well, but the true measure of ambition is how you respond to obstacles, setbacks, and failure. Do you retreat or do you rise again with more clarity and commitment than before? The disciplined person doesn't see failure as the end, but as part of the path. They learn, adjust, and act again. That's what builds momentum. That's what turns ambition into achievement. Another important truth: no one else can be disciplined for you. No one can take your actions for you. Others can inspire you, teach you, or even help you. But ultimately, the responsibility is yours. That's both the burden and the beauty of ambition. It's personal. It's yours to own or yours to waste in the end. Ambition that is not paired with discipline becomes frustration. You'll feel the pull of your potential, but never see it realized, and that ache, the gap between what you could be and what you chose to be, is the heaviest regret a person can carry. The only way to close that gap is through daily, intentional effort, so don't just dream big. Build habits that serve those dreams. Don't just talk about your goals, take action, even small, imperfect action. Because ambition without discipline is only potential, and ambition without action is only noise. But ambition combined with discipline and action, that is the formula for a life that matters. Gratitude should not replace drive. While being thankful for where you are and what you have is essential, it must never become a reason to stop reaching for more. Gratitude is a mindset. It grounds you, keeps you humble, and reminds you of how far you've come. But drive is the engine that moves you forward. Without drive, gratitude can become a hiding place, a justification for complacency. It can make you feel like growth is no longer necessary, as if appreciation for the present somehow excuses the lack of pursuit for the future. There's a fine but critical line between being content and being complacent. Contentment says, I'm proud of how far I've come, but I still have more in me. Complacency says, I've done enough. The danger arises when gratitude shifts from being fuel to being a full stop. You begin to tell yourself things like, I should be satisfied, others have less, or I've already achieved a lot. While those may be true, they can become the very thoughts that block your potential. Real gratitude doesn't limit you. It should empower you. It should remind you of what's possible because of what already is. Gratitude should act as a foundation, not a finish line. It should provide perspective, not permission to pause. When you're driven, you don't pursue more out of greed or dissatisfaction. You pursue more because you know there's more you can give, more you can become, and more impact you can make. One of the biggest misconceptions is that ambition and gratitude cannot coexist. That if you're driven, you must be ungrateful, or if you're grateful, you must be satisfied with the status quo. But the truth is, the most powerful and fulfilled people are both. They wake up thankful for what they've built, yet hungry for what's next. They are at peace with the past, but passionately committed to the future. That balance is where personal power lives. Gratitude is about appreciating the process, the people, and the progress. Drive is about refusing to stay still. You can be deeply grateful for your current job and still pursue a better position. You can love your home and still work toward a bigger vision. You can appreciate your health and still train for higher fitness goals. Drive doesn't mean you're ungrateful. It means you refuse to settle when you know you have more to offer. Some people use gratitude as a defense mechanism. They settle for less than they're capable of, and when challenged to push further, they respond with, I'm just thankful for what I have. And while that sounds noble on the surface, it's often an excuse for fear, doubt, or laziness. Gratitude becomes the shield behind which ambition hides. But true gratitude doesn't shrink, it stretches. It says, I'm thankful, and because of that, I won't waste what I've been given. There's also a societal pressure to not appear too ambitious, as if wanting more is selfish or arrogant. But it's not selfish to want to grow. It's selfish to bury your gifts. Drive doesn't mean you're dissatisfied with life. It means you're committed to living it fully. Being grateful is not about playing small. It's about recognizing your blessings and using them as leverage to do more, serve more, and be more. The world doesn't need people who are merely satisfied. It needs people who are awake, aware, and driven. People who appreciate the moment but are not defined by it. Gratitude should make you want to honor what you've received by becoming the best version of yourself, not by sitting still and calling it enough. If you stop growing out of gratitude, you misunderstand what gratitude truly is. Gratitude is not the end of effort. It's the reason for it. It's the fuel that should drive you to do something meaningful with the life you've been given. So be thankful, deeply, genuinely, but don't let that thankfulness become a trap. Let it be a launchpad, because when gratitude and drive work together, you don't just live a good life, you build a great one. Purpose outweighs peace. Peace is often sought as the ultimate goal in life. We desire comfort, calm, and serenity to escape the chaos of the world. We crave peace because it feels like the answer to stress, to overwhelm, and to the demands of life. But while peace is important for mental well-being, it should never become the sole pursuit in a life that's meant for growth, contribution, and fulfillment. There's a deeper, more powerful force that should drive your actions: purpose. When you find your purpose, you find a reason to move forward, to take risks, and to face the struggles of life, even when peace seems elusive. In fact, purpose and peace are not always compatible, because the pursuit of a meaningful life often requires discomfort, challenge, and sacrifice. Purpose is the compass that guides you through life storms. It provides you with direction, motivation, and meaning. It is the thing that makes the hardships bearable, the setbacks temporary, and the effort worthwhile. Without purpose, life can feel aimless and empty, even if you are surrounded by calm and comfort. You may have peace in the absence of conflict, but without purpose, you'll still feel unfulfilled. Purpose is the deeper source of fulfillment. It gives you the strength to endure through difficult times, to push past your limits, and to continue growing even when life isn't easy. In many ways, purpose is the fire that keeps you moving forward, even when the easy path would be to sit back and relax. The pursuit of peace, in contrast, often leads us to settle for what is comfortable and easy. When peace is the goal, we tend to avoid discomfort, challenge, and confrontation. We seek to create a life that is free from stress, conflict, and hardship. While this may seem appealing, it is also a trap. A life devoid of challenge and growth becomes stagnant. We need difficulty, struggle, and challenge to grow, to stretch, and to discover what we are truly capable of. Without challenges, we are not pushed to dig deep into our character, to refine our skills, and to realize the potential that lies within us. Purpose demands that we step outside our comfort zones. It asks us to face the unknown, to risk failure, and to accept that growth comes with discomfort. It means taking on responsibilities, making sacrifices, and doing the work even when it's hard. A life driven by purpose isn't always peaceful or easy, but it is meaningful and impactful. It is a life of intentionality, where every decision is made with a sense of direction, a sense of why. Behind it, think about the people who have had the most significant impact on the world, whether in business, art, science, or social change. These people didn't settle for peace. They embraced their purpose, which required them to work tirelessly, face obstacles, and endure periods of discomfort. The struggles they faced were often intense, and the sacrifices they made were great, but their purpose drove them. Peace, while it may have come at times, was never their end goal. Their purpose kept them moving forward, even through times of uncertainty and hardship. Having purpose means you are willing to step into discomfort, to keep striving even when it's easier to rest. It means prioritizing what is meaningful over what is easy. Purpose doesn't guarantee constant peace. In fact, it often brings tension between where you are and where you want to be, between who you are and who you are becoming. But it is in this tension that you find growth. It is in this tension that you discover your true potential. Peace without purpose can lead to a life of complacency. It might seem peaceful at first, but the lack of drive and meaning can leave you feeling hollow. You may have no immediate problems or struggles, but without a sense of purpose, you may start questioning whether life is truly fulfilling. That emptiness arises because the human spirit needs more than just peace. It needs purpose, something to strive for, something to contribute to. Purpose connects you to the world around you. It makes you feel like you are part of something bigger than yourself. So, while peace is a desirable state, it should never come at the expense of purpose. The purpose will drive you to go beyond your comfort zone, to challenge yourself, and to make a lasting impact. Purpose makes life meaningful. It fills the spaces where peace alone cannot. If you live for peace alone, you may miss out on the true richness of life, the richness that comes from living with intent, contributing to something bigger than yourself, and pushing through discomfort for something that truly matters in the end. The peace that comes from purpose is far more satisfying than the peace found in avoidance. Purpose doesn't mean living in chaos or turmoil, but it does mean you are willing to face the challenges that come your way in the pursuit of a meaningful life. True peace comes from knowing that your life has meaning, that your actions are aligned with your values, and that you are living according to a purpose that transcends temporary comfort. When purpose drives you, peace is a byproduct, not the end goal. In conclusion, the pursuit of purpose should always outweigh the pursuit of peace. While peace is a beautiful state to experience, it's purpose that will give you the strength to endure the trials of life, the passion to push through difficulties, and the drive to never settle for mediocrity. It's purpose that gives life its meaning, its direction, and its depth. Without purpose, peace can feel hollow, and comfort can feel empty. So, embrace your purpose, even when it challenges you, even when it pulls you out of your comfort zone, and even when it makes life harder in the short term. Because in the long run, it is your purpose that will provide you with the greatest peace, the peace of knowing you are living a life that matters, a life that is contributing to something larger than yourself. Choose purpose. Choose growth. Choose to move forward, not for the sake of peace, but for the fulfillment that comes from knowing you are becoming all you are meant to be. Peace will follow, but only when you are truly aligned with your purpose, and that is the ultimate reward. So go forward with confidence, knowing that the discomfort of purpose will one day bring you the peace that comes from living a life fully lived.